Christmas, my business, la 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 la.
Christmas in the 1960s, you can almost hear the faint hum of the record player spinning Bing Crosby and the smell of pine needles mixing with fresh percolated coffee. 1. The Christmas corsage. Before ugly sweaters and flashing LED brooches, Christmas fashion had a touch of elegance and sometimes a whiff of pine. In the 1960s, women often wore Christmas corsages or festive boutonnieres to church, work, or holiday parties. They were tiny works of art crafted with silk poinsettias, shiny holly leaves, little plastic bells, and sometimes even real sprigs of evergreen. They weren't just accessories, they were symbols of the season. A husband might pin one to his wife's coat lapel before heading to midnight mass, or children might proudly gift their mother a corsage they'd bought with saved allowance money from the local 5 and dime. And the scent, that faint mix of perfume, pine, and nostalgia, lingered long after the petals wilted. Today, you might catch a glimpse of one in an old Christmas photo, pinned proudly to a wool coat or velvet dress. It was a small tradition, but it carried a kind of quiet grace that perfectly captured the spirit of a 1960s holiday. 2. Sampler Dreams, the Whitman's Christmas Box.
In the 1920s, the best job a kid could have was delivering Whitman's 5 sampler varieties.
Mrs. Bennett, this is from Mr. Bennett.
Not chewy and crisp. One for you?
Before there were gift cards and candy towers, there was one box that said, "Merry Christmas," better than almost anything. The Whitman's Sampler. With its golden box and tidy grid of paper cups, it was a fixture of the holiday season in the 60s. People gave them to teachers, neighbors, co-workers, anyone who deserved a little sweetness wrapped in gold foil. Every piece had its own paper cradle, perfectly arranged like jewels. Kids knew not to touch it until company arrived, but they'd sneak a peek anyway, lifting the lid just enough to inhale that unmistakable chocolate scent. And when the box was finally empty, it wasn't really gone. It found new life as storage for sewing supplies, costume jewelry, or marbles. Families often covered the empty boxes with contact paper and used them for treasures, a kid's secret stash of stickers or trinkets from bubblegum machines. The Whitman Sampler wasn't just candy, it was a keepsake. And every Christmas, unwrapping that gold lid felt like opening a tiny box of happiness. 3. The Wish Book arrives.
Introducing the great entertainers. Sears' new collection of fun-at-home hostess fashions that speak for themselves.
Before the internet, before online carts and next-day shipping, there was only one way to dream big for Christmas: the arrival of the Wish Book. Every year, that thick Sears or Montgomery Ward catalog hit the mailbox like a holiday miracle. The moment it landed with a thump on the kitchen table, kids would rush to claim their favorite corner of the couch, red pen in hand. For the next few weeks, those glossy pages became sacred territory, a wish list, a daydream, and a little bit of magic all rolled into one. The toy section was always the main event. You could almost hear the pages crinkle as you flipped through dolls that walked and talked, shiny new bikes, slot car tracks, and easy-bake ovens glowing like mini miracles. Even the adults got caught up, Dad flipping to the tools, Mom eyeing the appliances, maybe a pair of slippers circled just in case. Families built traditions around that catalog. Some kids dog-eared pages until the corners tore. Others made careful lists that Santa mysteriously matched perfectly come Christmas morning. And when the new year arrived, those catalogs didn't go straight to the trash. They stuck around, tucked in drawers or closets, their pages worn soft from months of wishing. Because back then, before algorithms knew what you wanted, the Wish Book let you dream on your own. And somehow, that made the waiting and the magic even better. 4. Window Wonderlands. For families in the 1960s, a trip downtown at Christmas wasn't just about shopping. It was an event. Every department store competed to outdo the others, transforming their front windows into scenes straight from a snow globe. There were mechanical elves hammering away in tiny toy shops, glowing fireplaces with stockings hung just right, and mannequins frozen mid-laughter in their holiday best. Crowds would gather outside in scarves and mittens, their breath fogging the glass as they admired the moving displays. Kids pressed their faces to the cold windows, eyes wide with wonder, while parents snapped black and white photos with flashbulb cameras. Streetlights glowed red and green, Salvation Army bells rang on every corner, and carols spilled from tinny loudspeakers above the sidewalks. For many, it was the highlight of the season, a shared moment of awe that made everyone, young and old, feel like they were part of something bigger. Afterward, families would duck into Woolworths for hot chocolate or stop by the toy floor just to look. Those displays weren't just decorations, they were storytelling, and for a few magical weeks each December, ordinary city streets turned into enchanted wonderlands. Today, that kind of spectacle is rare, but for those who remember it, those glowing windows still shine in memory brighter than any LED light could ever manage. 5. Carols at your door. Before playlists and Bluetooth speakers, Christmas music came with a knock. Neighbors, sometimes whole choirs, bundled in scarves carrying lanterns or candles, singing Silent Night under your porch light. You'd open the door, hand out cocoa or cookies, and for a few minutes, your quiet street became a concert hall. Caroling wasn't just music, it was connection, warmth, and pure 1960s community spirit. 6. Bonus in a red envelope. Forget digital deposits. In the 1960s, a Christmas bonus came in a red or white paper envelope. Maybe it was cash, maybe a check, but it always came with a handshake and a Merry Christmas. It wasn't just money, it was gratitude, a small moment of pride you could hold in your hand. All right, vintage holiday lovers, if this walk through 1960s Christmas made you feel like you just smelled pine needles and Avon perfume, hit that subscribe button and join the nostalgia sleigh ride. And if you're on Facebook, come find our cozy corner of Christmas past. We're trading stories, old photos, and maybe even a few aluminum tree setups that survived the years, because remembering is a gift, and the best ones are the ones we share. 7. The Yule Log on TV. For those who didn't have a fireplace, television networks had the answer: the Yule Log broadcast. Just hours of a crackling fire looped on screen, with Christmas music softly playing in the background. It sounds simple, but for apartment dwellers and city families, it made the living room feel warm and cozy, proof that even static could feel like magic when wrapped in holiday spirit. 8. Real flame on the tree. Yes, real candles. Tiny wax tapers clipped onto evergreen branches, flickering against strands of tinsel. It looked beautiful and was absolutely terrifying, one spark away from disaster. By the end of the decade, most families switched to electric lights, but those who remember candle-lit trees will never forget their glow or the smell of singed pine needles. 9. Christmas cards for everyone. Back then, Christmas cards were serious business. Families sent them to everyone: friends, co-workers, neighbors, even the mailman. Each card came with handwritten notes and return addresses carefully underlined. The best ones had glittery snow scenes or embossed angels. By mid-December, every doorway was strung with yarn, displaying a sparkling wall of goodwill. 10. Handmade decorations. The 1960s. Christmas aesthetic was homemade magic. Paper chains, popcorn garlands, construction paper snowflakes, every decoration felt personal. Kids brought home school projects that proudly made it onto the tree, and moms turned old cards into ornaments. Even the ugly crafts had a place of honor. 11th Dressing for the holiday. The holidays had a dress code. Moms wore their best dresses and pearls, dads put on ties, and the kids were polished to perfection in velvet, taffeta, and patent leather shoes. Family photos looked like greeting cards come to life. Everyone glowing, the tree glittering behind them, the house smelling like pine and pot roast. 12. Holly and mistletoe hang up. Every doorway in the 60s had a sprig of mistletoe hanging above it, ready to spark laughter and a few blushing cheeks. It was both romantic and mischievous, and somehow it made even the most stoic uncles grin. Holly, meanwhile, added that traditional pop of red and green, even if it did poke everyone in the process. Before we pack away the tinsel, let's take a peek at some of your heartwarming memories from the last video. These comments absolutely make my day, and I'd love to feature more of your Christmas memories next time. So tell me in the comments, what's one holiday tradition from your childhood that's vanished today? Maybe it'll sparkle its way right onto the screen in the next video. 13. Aluminum tree shimmer. Nothing said modern Christmas like a gleaming aluminum tree, silver branches sparkling under a rotating color wheel. It was space-age chic, reflecting the optimism of the decade. No needles to sweep, no watering, just pure 1960s glamour. When those colored lights hit the tinsel just right, it wasn't just a tree, it was a holiday disco. Christmas in the 1960s had a different kind of light, softer, slower, and somehow more sincere. It was handmade, heartfelt, and filled with the glow of aluminum trees, corsages, and candlelight. We may have traded corsages for ugly sweaters and Yule logs for streaming playlists, but the feeling, that warm, shared magic, still lives on. Because no matter the decade, Christmas is about the same thing it's always been: joy, connection, and the memories we never forget.